Hey everyone, it's Benny. Today I'm going to be going over the Stromberg. This vehicle is currently on sale, I believe 30% off, and it's such a useful vehicle that I rarely ever see anyone use. And I've had the Stromberg since way back when I first started. This is one of the first vehicles I got that was weaponized because I had already known about its practical uses. I actually thank people like Professional who use this thing all the time and who also talk about it on their channel. This vehicle has actually gotten me out of so many pickles, and it's proven to be well worth the $2 million I spent on it. So now that my opinion is out of the way, let's start talking about what this vehicle is capable of. So you can see here in this example, I'm using it for the hangar mission where you have to go down to a salvage site and pick them up underwater. Most people would either stick with the rebreathers or use a scuba suit, but when you do that, you run the risk of being shot. And these guys have some serious accuracy. It doesn't matter how deep you are in the water, they can still shoot you with like perfect accuracy. And what the Stromberg does is it gives you some form of protection so that, you know, the roof and the body of the car can protect you from bullet fire. So it can definitely help you get underwater safely and without fail. Like, it can actually protect you from bullet fire as long as you're careful, and it can take out enemies with the torpedoes, but we'll get more into that later. First, let's talk about some other capabilities. Alright, as you can see in this clip, it handles really well. I mean, you would expect it to. It's a sports car. It's, in my eyes, I think it's based off of the Ferrari 308. So it's a sports car, it handles really well, it drives really fast. You could definitely get around the map if you had to with it. Now, I know most people are going to use an Oppressor or a Mark II, but this thing is capable of that. Now, everyone knows this is a submarine car. That is no secret. It's the James Bond car. But a lot of people actually underestimate it. As you can see here, I am emptying an entire ass round into the windows. And even one of the doors is cracked open, but it doesn't matter because this thing can still go into the water like a champ. It doesn't matter how much you damage it, how much you dent it, or how much the windows break. But as long as you don't break any of the doors off, you can still go underwater, no problem. You can see here I'm swinging around, I'm just fine. Just but a scratch. The windows are also shatterproof, so like if you're like me and you get really annoyed by shattered windshields, you won't have to worry about that. They're not bulletproof though. I mean, you can still be shot out, so keep that in mind. The Stromberg also carries 60 torpedoes. Now, the torpedoes are slow and the rate of fire is slow, but they are really good. They have good tracking that's actually very similar to its missiles. Now, you're not going to use the torpedoes a lot in PvP. Like, hell, I don't think I've ever actually used the torpedoes in PvP. But when it comes to PvE, like taking out NPCs, they are actually really useful. Especially that one CEO mission where you have to take out 2 boats and then a sailboat. It can also be useful in that salvage mission as I showed you earlier. So, they're practical. I mean, they'll help with missions. Just don't expect to use these a lot in PvP. I mean, I've had this thing for ages and I still have never used it. Now, for whatever reason, you're actually able to activate the submarine mode while on land. And it's not really anything practical, or it doesn't do anything, but it does look really silly. So if you want to have dumb fun with your friends, or if you want to troll people, this is a really fun way to do it. So the vehicle is definitely fun to use. In terms of overall durability, this thing does not disappoint. As you can see here, I am ramming cars head on and no dents, just scratches. Like, that's literally all it is, scratches, some broken doors. I did lose one door as I was doing this because one managed to pop open and I clipped it. But aside from that, don't even worry about getting this thing dented. You'll scratch it up. You'll probably like you'll do some damage to other cars. Definitely, I fucking wrecked that G-Wagon, but it it's surprisingly durable. So if you're like me and you're really OCD about dents or broken headlamps and that sort of stuff, you don't have to worry about it with this thing. Something that comes in really handy with the Stromberg is that you can take it to any custom shop. Like, you don't need a vehicle workshop to modify it. You can just take it into any Los Santos Customs. You can take it in, and there's not a lot of customization for it, honestly. It's literally just the basic stuff. Armors, performance, window tints, wheels. It's literally just the basic stuff. It's a shame there's no customizations like on the Deluxo, but to be fair, it already looks pretty nice, and I'm sure there's plenty of people who have modded Strombergs. I haven't seen any though, so like, I would really love to start seeing Strombergs at car meets, because I'm sure there's plenty of ways people could put modded stuff on it, like the Benny's rims or like modded crew colors. Regardless, you don't need an MOC or an Avenger. Like, that's something really good about this, is that there are literally no paywalls with this. You buy it and it comes as it says. It even comes with the missiles and everything, and to prove it, I took it to my MOC, and as you can see, there's no option for the missiles and machine guns. Like, those literally come with the car. It's great because it means there's no paywalls. Literally, all you have to have is a garage. That's it. Alright, now let's start talking about the Stromberg's defense. Now, there seems to be a really weird bug with this, and it's that if no one is in the Stromberg when you shoot at it, it does not take any explosive damage, which is really unfortunate, but it is armored. The catch is that someone has to be in the Stromberg for the armor to work. It's really weird. But as you can see here, I can take 5 homing rockets. As you can see, I shot this thing 5 times. It exploded on the 6th one. This makes it a really good counter to the Oppressor, because by the time they fire a missile at you and like slightly damage you, you will have like theoretically already fired a missile at them. And because the missile tracking on this is comparable to the Oppressor, you can actually manage to hit them. I use this thing to fight Oppressors all the time, and the tracking combined with the armor and the fact it carries 30 missiles makes this a really good counter to the Mark II. Now let's talk about the machine guns on this thing. A big complaint that I've always had with a lot of the machine guns for the vehicles in this game are weak. Like, a lot of the machine guns that the vehicles have are weak, and because of that, they're not useful at all. But the machine guns on the Stromberg can actually do a really big chunk of damage. You can see in this clip, I'm ripping through them in a matter of seconds. So theoretically speaking, you could actually fight people who are like, you could actually fight other players who are in other Civic cars without having to waste a missile on them. And you could actually use this for grinding too, because let's say you're taking out cop cars for whatever reason, or you're taking out NPC cars. You could just rip through them with a machine gun in a matter of seconds. And it's actually practical to do it with this car. And there you have it. All of the reasons why I believe the Stromberg is an essential when it comes to GTA Online. Doesn't even matter what kind of player you are. I believe every player should have one of these. But that's it for this. If you enjoyed, and if you found this helpful on what exactly the car is, leave a like and subscribe. I'm going to be making way more content regularly now. That's it for now. Stay safe, guys.